This is a call for vengeance. Welcome to today's show. The clip you just saw was from the Super Bowl. And a lot of people are in an uproar about it because they saw an upside down cross on somebody who identifies as Ice Spice. No relation to the Spice Girls, apparently, just Ice Spice. And the word around the street is that a lot of people are accusing Ice Spice from that clip you just saw of holding up satanic hand signals. And it's a debate out there. We've seen Snoop. Some people are actually debunking it, saying that it wasn't satanic, it's not. And I thought, who better than to actually talk about this subject than me? I mean, I might be a new kid on the block here on YouTube, wink, wink, but I figure maybe I can help people understand who these people are. And you'll see from this video exactly who they are and how this works, because it's more than just holding up devil signs. It's deep, and it's all of them, and I'll prove it to you. So you may have heard the saying before. We always hear about these people like Confucius, etc. But the people hear there's famous quotes. They put them in movies. They wear them on shirts, but they don't think anything more than the quote, right? Confucius once said that signs and symbols rule the world, not words nor laws. So if we go by that, right, and we actually use our brain, signs and symbols are in front of us all the time. Logos for corporations, hand gestures we see celebrities doing, right? The collages that we see on every, how many times have we seen the collages, right? Of every single celebrity holding up a hand over their eye, right? So the Super Bowl Ice Spice was in Taylor Swift's box along with Blake Lively. And I figure I'll start there, right? Because if anyone out there is defending Ice Spice, now let's just look at guilt by association, shall we? So of course, Taylor Swift, she can't be one of them, right? Because everybody loves Taylor Swift. She's only famous organically, right? Of course not. We see Taylor Swift holding her hand up over her eye, and why not, since we were looking at the people in the box? To Taylor Swift's right in that picture was Blake Lively. Here's Blake Lively holding up a hand over Blake Lively's eye. Now, what is this? They just have this in common? They both had something in their eye as the photographer was about to take a photo? And Blake Lively was like, oops, I got something over my eye. Like this picture posted to her Facebook account where she's holding up a giant circle over. I mean, these people just having an obsession with eyeballs. It's nothing to do with being failed optometrists, does it? Or, why is there an eyeball on the back of the dollar bill? Why do we always see eyeballs? Well, it's the eye of Lucifer, the all-seeing eye, because that's who they worship. So there's your Ice Spice tie-in. And of course, Blake Lively is known for being married to Ryan Reynolds, who gets shoved down our throats. You might remember Ryan Reynolds most recently for his depiction of Satan, of course, in a joking light, being funny, and everybody loves Ryan Reynolds. Here's Ryan Reynolds on a magazine cover, Bizarre magazine, and of course, Rise of Charm, because he plays the role. Okay, he's your MK Ultra CIA agent playing the role of charming, handsome, if you want to say that, type of guy who's out there. So that's her husband. So all of them, they're all in the same box together because they all love holding their hands up over their eyes, right? Blake Lively, her husband, Taylor Swift. And then, of course, during this whole performance, it was interesting because on Super Bowl Sunday, in their box came Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille O'Neal, famous for being a basketball player, but we see him all over the place in every commercial. His basketball career is long over. Well, I wonder why that is. Well, this is why it is. Because Shaquille O'Neal is a member of the Secret Club, the Secret Societies, as all these people are. And people don't think any further than, Freemasonry, it's a secret society. They've convinced people that it's the same thing as a fraternity where they go and they drink beer and they hang out. No, they don't. Okay, no, they don't. You could read their books and their teachings. These are the people responsible for all the problems in the world, all the higher up agencies or organizations like the Committee at 300, or you want to look at the Vatican, you want to look at Israel, frog in my throat. Okay, all these people come through Freemasonic, organizations, and ones that are born in bloodline-wise. The Freemasons are taught the same things that all of these people are taught, right? They're the ones causing the chaos. Their motto is order out of chaos. Or is this just Shaquille O'Neal hanging out with people wearing a bib over his crotch? I mean, is this supposedly normal to people? Nobody wonders why Shaq, they don't think any further than think, well, Shaq was a famous basketball player. Yeah, 20 years ago. Oh, he's only in every TV commercial. He's only hanging out with every, because this is what they do. They're all Satanists. They're all in the occult together. Okay? They are all in the same secret societies. For the men, it's Freemasons. For the women, it's Eastern Star. So let's circle back to Ice Spice, who's being accused of holding up satanic hand signals. Now, of course, that is what she was doing. So we've seen Ice Spice. They just actually rolled out Ice Spice at the Met Gala, which is one of their most satanic events that they have every single year. That you could just look no further than the outfits that they're wearing. We've had people showing up there with purses of decapitated heads, of course, we have them always wearing all sorts of satanic garb because they use the fashion industry as a way to get away with showing you who they really are. And Ice Spice was there, and all Ice Spice was doing was walking around holding up a camera over Ice Spice's eyes. So I guess that's why Ice Spice, Taylor Swift, Blake Lively are all in a box at the Super Bowl together, because they all just happened, they went on a dating site or a friendship site. They were looking for friends that had things in common. And what they all had in common is they all loved holding things up over their eyes. They have an eye fetish. So that's what they all have in common, right? There's nothing to see here, right? I mean, this is a camera purse or camera that Ice Spice is holding up. Clearly, it's not a real camera, but it's a clever way of saying, ooh, I could hold this up over my eye and nobody will see that I'm doing all-seeing eye symbolism while I'm holding out the serpent tongue, right? That's another symbol we always see, the serpent tongue. Now, if you look into Ice Spice, you'll see that Ice Spice uses other occult signs and symbols, like shh, right? The finger over the mouth. You could look up almost every single celebrity and you will find them doing this pose. Type their name in, type in shh, or hand over mouth, or something like that. You'll find it. Here's a quick example. Here's Rihanna, who I've covered. Even has it tattooed on her finger. Shh, right? Now, what do you think Rihanna got it tattooed on her finger for? Went to all the effort to go and get a tattoo on her finger that says shh. Doesn't the finger itself symbolize shh? Why is Rihanna so obsessed with this symbol? Well, of course, because it's a secret society symbol and the vow of silence, the oath of secrecy that they take. And this oath, of course, is that, look, we're in this secret, brotherhood together. We're in this secret fraternity together and worship Lucifer together. And this is a secret that we'll keep from the rest of society, because if they find out, the same thing will happen to us that happened to our forefathers. They'll set us ablaze. Okay? So they do this in front of our faces, and they expect you to look at their pictures and not think anything of it. They expect you, when you see collages of the same photo of all these celebrities going, shh, are you supposed to expect that they're keeping a secret from you? Are you supposed to expect that they just farted, don't tell anybody? I mean, what do you think, right? And you can see the picture right there. That's the royal master's degree. And this is them, the finger over the lip. Okay, keep silent. And witches do this, have the same oath, because they're all connected. The Eastern Star is the female Freemasonry, okay? That picture is from Freemasons doing the hand over the mouth. If you actually study the occult, satanic covens, witchcraft covens, which are real, even though everyone out there thinks they're fake, they take the same vow because it's one in the same. It's the same teachings. So this is how they get away with it in our society. They go into these buildings. You think it's a fraternity. They go Eastern Star. They're in a church. And you think that these are good people who are just, in an organization where they're trying to make the town better. This is how they word this stuff. This is why and how we've gotten to this point. Because in other time periods, witches and Satanists were taken care of by the civilians. They weren't allowed to exist. And it wasn't because they smelled like sulfur, which is true. It was because of the things they were doing. They were causing chaos. They were caught doing ritual sacrifice with youngsters, with animals, okay? And then they tell you that all that stuff's make-believe conveniently now as we see the world fall apart around us, because they don't want people to get suspicious as to who's behind it. So you even see Ice Spice doing the black and white symbolism, wearing the dress, because, again, they'll always show you their affiliation, the black and white symbolism. They'll always wear outfits like this on the red carpet at big events. It's done by design, the serpent's tongue. And then, of course, Taylor Swift's the one who is rolling out, or, not rolling out, but there's a close affiliation there. So it's building the fame of Ice Spice, right? Because it's associated with Taylor Swift, who the CIA is pushing out. And again, it's not the narrative of, the CIA is pushing her because they want, they want her to endorse Biden. They're all Satanists, right? So here's another interesting story. So you can see how all of this stuff ties in. It's not just Ice Spice holding up devil horns. They want you to see those articles that say, Christians could say that she's a Satanist because she got an upside-down cross. But then if you look, every single person associated with them is in the occult. So this isn't isolated. They're all in there. I just showed you all the people in the box who are associated, right? Then you get this story. Playboy Cardi, okay, who I covered in the past. He came out and he said that he's the one who gave that to Ice Spice. He gave her that. So he's a great guy, right? And of course, he's not connected to Satan. He gave it to him because he's he loves crosses, right? Because he's a real Christian. Here he is being a real big follower of Christ, as he's just got devil horns on his forehead. But I'm sure, he gave it to her. There's nothing demonic about it. Just like there's nothing demonic about him betraying Satan over and over and over again. And if you think, that's art, he just has these things on his forehead. Well, we could just look at the tattoo on his neck. I mean, what does that say? Oh, it says Satan on his neck. Did they misspell? Were they supposed to write static? Is that what happened? It must be a mistake. That's why he strategically had it photographed and put on his Instagram account. He doesn't worship Satan, just like giving her that upside down crucifix isn't satanic at all. And of course, the Satanists have come out and said, hey, that symbolizes Peter, right? They want you to think the Catholicism symbolism of it is, oh, well, Peter was crucified upside down, so we should all worship the symbol, right? That's how dumbed down people are. Do you think Peter on the cross was like, hey, they're going to kill me. I'm on the cross upside down. I hope that people will then wear upside down crosses on their shirts or their necklaces so that they can pay homage to me. Well, of course not. But nobody thinks any further than that. So another guy here, again, as I just continue with Playboy Cardi, he's got the monarch butterfly tattooed on his chest along with Mickey Mouse, which tells us, these are symbols that tell us that they're operatives of the CIA, that they go through monarch programming. These are MK Ultra mind-controlled zombies. They're not famous because they're talented. They're famous because they're put there, and their job is to be influencers, right? He's even got the tattoo, if you haven't noticed, he's got a pentagram with a little heart symbol on it, right? This goes back to Aleister Crowley, of course. See a lot of celebrities now using the pentagram, but to have it make in the shape of a heart. That's because the Antichrist is coming in the name of love. They will cry war and peace, war, and he will come in the name of peace. Right? And he also, if you were interested, just another side note, he's also got a tattoo of a goat on his chest. But on his stomach, excuse me. I guess that's because, he's the greatest of all time. That's another thing they try to do. In front of your faces, they goat worship. And then they tell you it just means the greatest of all time. And these suckers just go, yeah, it means it's the greatest of all time. Oh, is Playboy Cardi the greatest of all time? I'd be, hard-pressed to find 5 people out of 1 million that know who Playboy Cardi is. But, he's doing that because he's saying he's the greatest, right? While right above the goat, conveniently, there's a cross, a crucifix with a, no sign through it saying like, no God, no, that's all coincidental, right? So he's the one that gave her the pendant. So everybody out there thinks it's it's satanic, is a conspiracy theorist. There's all these articles out there covering it. If you look at all these media outlets, they're like, is it satanic? Newsmax even came out. And they're pushing Christianity is under attack. It is under attack. It is, but they're also making this sound ridiculous, the way that they handle it, right? They look at that and then they go, oh, she's a Satanist, she's a devil worshiper. And the common person goes, oh, all right, these people are a little over dramatic. She's holding up devil horns because they're so desensitized to the actual devil horns because we see it all the time now. But what they really should be doing is like what I'm showing you right here, which is look at all these people associated with all of these secret societies. Now, why is Newsmax not bringing up Freemasonry or Eastern Star, these witches that parade around in our towns, who are allowed in our towns, who aren't only allowed in our towns, they're protected in our towns, that they perform these rituals in our towns, right? If you didn't know, these Freemason lodges are tax exempt. You can't bring that up, by the way. Don't you ever bring that up to they don't even want you to ever mention Freemasonry. Have you ever noticed that? They'll bring up Satanism in a sense, but they don't want you to connect what it really is. They want you to dismiss it as if it's a big joke, right? But then when I show you all the people in the box, all connected to Freemasonry, right? Then you go into Freemasonry, and people are like, I don't really think that's what they believe. Oh no, right out of their own books, right? Lucifer, their morning star. Let me read you the exact quote. And this is from Albert Pike. Albert Pike is the one whose teachings they follow. Albert Pike is the one who gives a script on how to bring about World War III. You may have noticed there's conflict going on in the Middle East. He specifically talks about how that was needed and then how they need to use it as a herding mechanism to filter down into civil war to bring about World War III so they could bring about a new world order. No, that's Albert Pike, who, also, if you don't know, before I read you his quote, is also responsible for the creation of this group that begins with a K, has a K next to it, and then a K at the end, the KKK. Yeah, Albert Pike created it. And if Albert Pike is really one of the founders of Freemasonry, or at least one of the teachers of Freemasonry, you would think maybe we would investigate those lodges if you were looking for people in white capes who are causing all these problems in the world, right? But again, they won't tell you this type of stuff, but I will. So here's his quote. That which we must say to the crowd is, we worship a God, but it is the God that one adores without superstition. To you, sovereign grand inspectors general, we say this, that you may repeat it to the brethren of the 32nd, 31st, and 30th degrees. The Masonic religion should be, by all of us, initiates of the high degrees, maintained in the purity of the Luciferian doctrine. If Lucifer were not God, would Jesus spread false and harmful statements about him? Yes, Lucifer is God. Quote, from Albert Pike, 33rd degree Mason. And when you hear about, well, he's telling the 32nd, 31st, and 30th degrees, because you have to climb the ladder in Freemasonry, which is one of the reasons you always see ladder symbolism, because more of this is revealed to you as you go through it. Because a first degree Mason, the guy who signs up in his town, might not have the slightest clue and might think it's a fraternity. So they make sure that this guy goes through all the rituals, which include having, swords held up to your throat, having to go through humiliation rituals for blackmail purposes. And once you get high enough up, then they tell you that Lucifer's the god of this world, which is why you hear Usher, Beyonce, all these people say God. They're referencing Lucifer, their God. They're not referencing our Father in the Bible. Okay, they're not referencing Yahweh. They're referencing Lucifer. And if everybody connected the dots with Freemasonry, then, people would start waking up to it, but they don't want you to. That's why the headlines read, Ice Spice accused of satanic hand signals and the Super Bowl by conspiracy theorists. Does this video look like a conspiracy to you? What in this video did I say was a conspiracy? The signs and symbols reveal themselves. They're all doing the all-seeing eye symbolism. They're all hanging out together. They're all doing the shh sign, right? Then you go, oh, it's not really an upside-down cross, according to Playboy Cardi. And people go, oh, Playboy Cardi's confirmed it's not really upside-down cross. He gave it to her, so he would know, right? Then you just look up him, and he's got wearing devil horns on his head. He's got Satan tattooed on his neck, Baphomet tattooed on his stomach. He's even got an X through a crucifix on his chest, along with perfect examples of MK Ultra mind control servants imagery, which would be Mickey Mouse and the butterfly. It's an utter joke, and I get what they're trying to do, because people saw that and then they were like, oh, did you see her hold up the devil signs? And then they immediately will have the alt-right media like Newsmax, who doesn't, they have a clue what they're doing, because I'm sure the amount of money behind it's run by Freemasons, because all this stuff is. If these people are speaking freely on national television, then they're likely controlled. If not likely, definitely controlled. Me, you might say, I've heard people say, well, you probably don't know who I am if you think that I'm allowed to speak freely. But another thing, too, of note is that Ice Spice also is in a commercial for Starry, right? She's the new spokesman for Starry, Sergio Eastern Starry product. Apparently that's the name of Sierra Mist now, Starry. I don't know where they got that name. Everybody just loves stars. So creative, right? Give me an utter break. I thank everybody for being here. Hope you found this video informative. Share it with other people. Share it with people who are bringing up the story so they can actually realize who these people are. Start realizing who these secret societies are and why our society is so chaotic. It's because the motto of Freemasons and the Eastern Star Witches is order out of chaos. They're the ones who are going to bring about a new order under the all-seeing eye of Lucifer. Okay, this is all biblical and it's all happening right in front of us. They want you to think it's a big joke, but it's not. I thank you for being here again. Hope you're all well. God bless you and your families as always.